On this extraordinarily special day, I want to present what is possibly one of the most praiseworthy games I've had the honor of being alive to witness. Its very concept bringing tears to my eyes, as the simple knowledge of its existence is cathartic and soothes the psyche. Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, despite its deceptive name, contains infinitely more than plain plastic pool playthings. It's an experience, unrivaled and unparalleled, which not only brings forth profound philosophical questions, but also an immeasurable serenity second only to Mongolian meditation. Through its exquisite sound design, soundtrack, and distinctive visuals, it proves to be an experience one can play for hundreds of hours. For these reasons, let me dissect the stroke of genius which this game is to outline all the reasons for which I believe it to be the game of the year. First off, the fundamental inner workings and happenings within this experience are pure, honest, and devoid of any algorithmic manipulation, unlike many of its contemporaries. A timer gradually increases, ultimately summoning a unique duck to the bath, making progression a slow burn that keeps one engaged for hours on end. In their infinite wisdom, the creators did not give players the luxury of control, since it would hamper the true symbolism of the experience. Instead, one can observe the fate of these ducks as a mere outsider, unable to impact or influence their destiny. A cynic would inquire, how does one extract enjoyment from such a game, which bears the primitive mind of one who cannot assimilate such complex notions? It is as Kant once said, happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. By this, he asserts that joy is a construct indescribable through rationality, revealing instead that the experience of observing the fate of such plastic ducks cannot be explained through mere words. Emotions are concepts, like colors, which are impossible to illustrate using our limited means of communication. A blind man will only ever know colors the way others interpreted them, and the unenlightened will only ever perceive a shallow imitation of the profound messaging in Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. Furthermore, the cynic might unwisely evaluate this work using the metrics destined for a video game, such as graphics, replayability, and immediate gratification. However, calling Placid Plastic Duck Simulator a game would be imprecise and misleading. In his book, The Art of Game Design, A Book of Lenses, Jesse Schell argues that a game is an interactive experience which has an achievable goal confined by rules. In contrast, Placid Plastic Duck Simulator does not fulfill these requirements, as there is no way of winning or losing, nor is there a meaningful way to interact with the environment's calculated future. In conclusion, this is not a game. Instead, more parallels can be drawn to a physics simulation whose results are founded in logic and reason. Knowing this, I believe Placid Plastic Duck Simulator to be a commentary on determinism, which represents the belief that all events in the universe are unchanging and inevitable, regardless of what we do. The ducks know where they will be in 10 seconds, and they know where they will be in 10 hours, since their path can be entirely derived from their current position and velocity without needing to take into account the possibility of an outside force which will change that outcome. The key life lesson we can take from this experience is that many things in life can be uncontrollable or unfair at times. We work for the world, but that does not mean that the world will work for us. Instead, we must be like ducks in the water and go with the flow of life. Let it carry us to our future. Much like the ducks, after falling down the slide, the only possible option is to go back up the tube to normality. Seeing this, one could ask, why do people play video games? And while people's reasons may vary, they are all contained within the top 3 layers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, exhibiting the psychological gain one might acquire from spending time on them. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. This quote from Marcus Aurelius remains relevant to this day, as it points to the need to fulfill these psychological desires, which games, among other things, can provide. As is expressed in hedonism, our goal in life is to pursue pleasure, striving to suppress our pain and promote that which entertains us. Video games, as well as most modern media, are excellent inhibitors to such feelings, by providing us an immediate gratification as well as a world to immerse ourselves into. In Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, this is especially prevalent, as observing the ducks can blur minutes into hours and hours into days until time becomes a foreign concept and you become one with the ducks. The hypnotic nature of the experience sprouts from the leeway it gives to the imagination. As it was famously said by Robert Browning, less is more. Placid Plastic Duck Simulator took this design philosophy to heart and made it its main goal to let the player's mind wander, create stories about the pool toys gently gliding across the water's surface. This is further accentuated by the ability to name every single duck, promoting an additional layer of creativity and storytelling. Right as one might begin losing interest in their little universe, the additional downloadable content swoops in to provide a whole new world to spectate for an extremely reasonable price. Thoreau said, "The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it." Undoubtedly, this is patently true in the context of this experience. I deem myself an amateur, a mere bystander compared to the true enlightened ones which have uncovered every mystery and message hidden within the depths of its code. Even so, my brief participation has been rejuvenating and led me into a deep reflection upon topics that the mind would otherwise shy away from. In the words of Rita Mae Brown, the only reason to be alive is to enjoy it, inferring that there is no reason to ignore this work, as it will definitely benefit one's personal growth. Instead of a new bar of deodorant, buy this, as you won't be leaving your house for a considerable time after getting it, anyway. Happy April Fools.